Today I will be talking about the environmental challenges and Indigenous people. The case study key points. Idle No More and Bill C-45, First Peoples' knowledge on the environment, how to raise awareness, and First Nations views on sustainability. In this case study, I'll be talking about environmental challenges and Indigenous people where the Idle No More movement and Bill C-45 come to play. Idle No More protesters contended that the Act's modifications weakened Indigenous people's rights and authority while paving the way for governments and businesses to push through projects without undergoing rigorous environmental review. Bill C-45, which is called the Jobs and Growth Act, has reduced the number of protected rivers in Canada from 2.8 million to less than 100, and has lowered the protection threshold of reserve land surrenders. First Peoples' knowledge on the environment. First Nations people have invested in protecting the land as the Western world has often placed corporations and industrial needs above protecting the land and its people, which destroys the land with pollution and contamination. First Peoples' knowledge and fight to protect the land is very imperative, as their ways of observing and their views that the land is sacred and should be used with care and respect is very vital. Their belief of the one is very eye-opening and valid, in that everything has a relationship with each other. So if we care for the land, then we are preserving not just the environment, but resources for thousands of years to come, thus protecting ecosystems and animals. Indigenous people's knowledge of the land is far more advanced and accurate than Western knowledge, as Indigenous people have had thousands of years of observations and documenting of how everything works, as in animal migrations, plant and trees, growth and locations, which the Western world is trying to catch up to. How to raise awareness and First Nations views on sustainability. We raise awareness by joining protests, marches, conversations, and decisions to support First Nations rights, and also be engaged on social media by raising awareness and questions about any political decisions that have been or are being made. Indigenous perspectives on sustainability are that Aboriginal people traveled through locations where the land was abundant as food gatherers. Each of the 4 seasons had its own set of rules for hunting and trapping animals for food and clothing, catching fish, harvesting fruit and berries, and picking and preparing medicines and roots. They have studied the development, reproduction, and regeneration cycles of plants, animals, and birds while having to carry out these tasks. Interrupting the natural cycles and patterns was deemed a violation of nature's rules. The necessity of preserving Mother Earth for the next generations was represented in this knowledge and comprehension of the natural world. All peoples must embrace the concept of the 7th generation survival, which is at the heart of long-term sustainability. Case study information, stakeholders and their views, project manager and skills along with knowledge needed, facilitated meeting between stakeholders. Stakeholders and their views. Indigenous people and the federal government are the stakeholders. Indigenous people want to block and protest the Bill C-45, which is going against First Nations environmental rights. The federal government wants to pass and implement such bill. We want to reach an agreement on amending the bill to protect the rights of First Nations, also giving back First Nations claim over their environments, water supplies, and fishing rights. Project manager and skills along with knowledge needed. My name is Farida Gmina, and I am the project manager of this case study. My knowledge about this case study and in general will help in writing a good proposal, as I attended a year of law school and was taught on how to write court proposals to help First people get their voices heard right, and help them fight this bill. I also know how to work social media and could come up with a campaign to raise awareness and bring attention to our issue. The knowledge I'm lacking is that I don't know much about law beyond a year of law school, so I wouldn't really understand the terminologies in the bill or court proceedings and how to represent them in court or in front of the federal government. I also have very little knowledge about environmental issues and the geography of First Nations, so I wouldn't be able to contribute to the understanding of where the bill is threatening their rights. The knowledge needed to aid the stakeholders is law, environmental issues, First Nations land geography. And the knowledge and expertise possessors needed for this case study and for this project is our lawyers, environmental activists, elders of First Nations, and geographers. And how to gather the information, meet with people who have the knowledge, and sit with them to understand the knowledge I lack. Write everything down needed to help the Indigenous people fight the bill and the steps necessary to take. The team skills. If the team includes lawyers, environmental activists, First Nations elders, and geographers, then we would be able to tackle this issue together and take this case to court and argue its threat. Facilitated meeting between stakeholders. I would organize a meeting with the federal government by contacting representatives or a protest that would lead me to such representatives, either by marches or using social media to get attention. Modes of discussion or actions to be taken are: a meeting would be appropriate to sit down and discuss amending the bill C-45, where the elders of each First Nation and representatives of the federal government or issuers of such bill can sit down and talk to rectify such bill. But also another appropriate action would be to bring this protest to court by filing a case stating that the bill infringes on the rights of First People and poses a threat to their environmental rights. And these are my references. Thank you.